The management of the Ghana Airports Company Limited, GACL, indefinitely barred Magdan Aviation from operating its private jet services at the Terminal 1 of the Kotoka International Airport on Tuesday. This comes only days after Magdan Aviation launched the private jet terminal and its accompanying services on Friday, January 28. At an event boycotted by the leadership of the Ghana Airports Company Limited and government officials. According to the airport authorities, this was due to operational breaches by Magdan Aviation. Speaking to Citi Business News, the Deputy General Secretary of the Public Services Workers Union of the Trade Union Congress, John Sampa, noted that if such situations were unchecked, they could lead to a downgrading of the Kotoka International Airport, which would ultimately affect their livelihoods.
What we have seen as workers is that our management wrote a letter to Magdan Company, and in the letter you can see clearly that effort for Magdan to sit down with the company to comply with regulation and lay down procedure have not been followed. And for a high authority like our management to cry like that means that somebody, an individual, is trying to be more powerful than the state. And now the airport operates with international standards and grading, and if we are not very careful and people are allowed to do things haphazardly, it could actually lead to downgrading of the airport. Once it is downgraded, people are going to lose their jobs because a lot of airlines will divert and will not actually land here. What then happens is that some of our members will lose their job, and as a union, anything that is a potential threat to our workers' economic well-being is our concern.
Magdan Aviation has since announced the suspension of its private jet operations at Terminal 1 of the Kotoka International Airport to enable the management hold talks with the GACL over contentions regarding operational procedures. Aviation analyst Sean Mendes believes this is the right way to go. Speaking to Citi Business News, Mr. Mendes added that in future, management of GACL must be proactive in such matters to avoid being flagged by the international body ICAO.
Well, I think the consequences of having a terminal that has not been approved by the airport operator can be quite severe. There are services in the terminal, whether that's immigration, customs, security in particular, that are very critical because the terminal leads to the same airside where all the other flights are operating from. And there are certain standards that ICAO mandates, that the US TSA mandates, and so forth, that have to be maintained at all access points. So if there is something that Ghana Airports Company and Ghana Civil Aviation Authority have not approved within the terminal and people are able to go through the terminal as a result, it could lead to revocation of ICAO authorization and US TSA authorization, which in a worst case scenario could mean that international flights could stop until those are corrected. So potentially there is a lot of problems that could come up from an unauthorized terminal, but this is not something that is difficult to fix. And if both sides approach it in good faith, a resolution is there to be had.